Hi everyone, Salesforce Admin Training, day 22. Let's see what we are going to learn today. We'll quickly go through the previous session overview and we'll talk about the roles and when do we use the roles. What is the roles and when do we use the roles and how to create a roles. And then we will see what is the differences between the profiles and role. What are the role properties? And then we'll talk about the OWD, which is the organization by default. What is the organization by default? What is the navigation steps for the OWD? OWD Private, and then we'll have a today's interview questions. Now, what did we learn in last session? We have discussed about the permission set, how to create a permission set, properties of permission set, creating the permission set group, properties of permission set group, and then we have seen the role introduction. So role is nothing but Salesforce roles are at the record level. Salesforce roles are at the record level, and basically it's a record level access. It controls the record level access, whatever it is defined, what data user can see in Salesforce. Salesforce roles are record level access, controls the whatever the defined data is there, we can see on the Salesforce. So roles are designed to increase the data visibility to open up the access to Salesforce record. Now, yesterday we have seen this, how to increase the visibility of the data. Can increase the data visibility through roles by using the role hierarchy in Salesforce. Now, so roles are increasing the data visibility, but in the real time, what are the places that we use actually? What are the places that we use the roles? Roles is for escalation. Whenever you want to escalate your manager, then we need a role. Whenever you wanted to escalate it, you wanted to know who is the manager. Who is the manager? Because we wanted to escalate the certain things to the manager. Or else, whenever you wanted to share the record, that time we use the roles. Or else, while assigning it, can I assign the same role level people the ticket, or can I assign the different level? So assigning the things, we will use the roles. So roles are used in escalation, sharing, and assigning. Sharing and assigning. Now creating a role, we will create a role, setup, user, roles. Setup, user, and the roles. Click on the add role. Go to the setup, search for a user, and there you will have a roles. So if you click on the add role, there is a button called add role. So initially the roles are different. Now as soon as the org is created, search here role. Search here role. So click on these roles. When you click on these roles, by default it will display the different things, right? So here territory based sample, product based sample, company based sample. So you can select any one of them. Let's say that we are going to create a company size based sample. So click on the setup role. When you click on the setup role, here you have it collapse all, expand all. So if you expand all, then it is expanding the roles. So this is by default, it is created in the Salesforce. Whenever the org is created, whatever the org name is there, that org name will be there at the top level. And then we have a CEO, within the CEO, CFO, COO, SVP, and then we have a different user set. Within the, again, SVP, we have a customer support North America, installation, And then we will see VP International within the marketing. But we have a different roles are available. This is the standard roles. This is standard roles. Now, in the real time, it may not be necessary that I should be using the whatever is Salesforce is provided. I don't want to use this. I don't want to use this because this role is just an example that Salesforce has provided. Just an example that Salesforce has provided. Now, when it is provided by the Salesforce here, now I do not need this SVP, customer support North America, or I do not need all this information. Now, if I wanted to delete this, the one which is provided by the Salesforce, I wanted to delete this. If I try to delete at the high level one, it says that there are dependencies are there. There are dependencies. So what you have to do is you have to delete the roles from the bottom. So click on a roles. Back to previous page. So we have these many roles are there. Now here first I need to create at the bottom, the lowest one, whatever is available, the lowest one which we have to delete it. So whenever you want to delete the roles, for example, if you want to delete the VP North American, if you want to delete a VP North America, first you need to delete this channel sales team, direct channel sales team, direct sales team. If you delete these three, then VP North America sales will be deleted. VP North America sales will be deleted. Now here channel sales I have deleted. I'm going to delete these two. If I delete these two, then only I can delete the parent. Then only I can delete the parent. Once this is done, now I'm going to delete the VP. VP North American sales. Click on this, done. Now without deleting the child record, for example, here VP market is there. I'm deleting the VP market that has a child record. If I try to delete the VP marketing, what will happen is it says that there is a child which is available. So first you need to delete the child role and then delete the parent role. First delete the child role and then delete the parent role. So I need to delete this child marketing team. Then I will be deleting the VP marketing. VP marketing. Now similarly VP international. For VP international there is no child is available. So I can directly delete the VP international sales. And after that we have a SVP. I do not need the SVP. I can delete it. And then SVP human resource, I can delete it. I do not need this information. Now finally we have a SVP customer service support. So this is also we do not need repair service. And then customer support North America, we do not need that. And this is customer is not required. Let's assume that I'm going to build the CEO, CFO, COO, and let's assume here SVP is available. Instead of SVP, what I want is I'm going to change the name of it. So before it was SVP. Now here it is a SVP is there. Instead of SVP, what I'll do is I'll change the name of it. Let's say I'm going to change the CTO. Role name is CTO. Here, click on this. Let's say CTO. I'm going to save this record. So we have a CEO, within that CFO, COO, CTO. And within the CTO, I'm going to add another role. Within the CTO, I'm going to add another role, which is called VP. VP is another role which I'm adding it here. Click on save. So if I go back to the roles, CO. So on top level we have a Swapna IT, and then within that we have a CEO, and then within that we have a CFO, COO, CTO, and then within the CTO we have a VP. We have VP. So this is the role hierarchy. This is the role hierarchy that we have implemented. So CEO, CFO, COO, CTO, VP. Right, so you can click on the add role, and then you can decide the type of roles. So whether you wanted to go for a territory-based role, or do you want to go for a product-based role, or do you want to go for a company size-based. Territory-based role is nothing but a role based on the location. Based on the location or area or country or geo division. Product-based roles are role based on the line of business. Company size based is role based on the customer division. These are the different type of roles we have. So by default, Salesforce is going to provide the default roles. But if you want to modify anything, you can rename or you can delete it, you can modify it. In case if you want to delete any of the role, first you need to delete all your child nodes or a child links. You have to delete it, and then you can delete the parent. Now, this is how we are going to set up the roles. Now, once the roles are set, so far we have discussed about the user. Profile, license, permission set, and then finally we have a role. So users. So we have discussed about the users, license, profile. Now here permission set. And then today we have discussed about the role. License and user are connected to each other. Without license, you cannot create a user. Without profile also, you cannot create a user. And profiles are selected based on the license. Based on the selection of license is selected. And permission set is to extend the access of this profile. In order to extend this, we have to create a permission set. Now the next one is role. Role is basically, it is going to decide it. Record level access. So roles are basically, it is a record level. So record level, we have this. To control the record level, we have to use the roles. So roles are designed to increase the data visibility to open up the access to Salesforce records. to open up the control at the record level. Now, the question will be raised is, what is the difference between the profile and role? What is the difference between the profile and role? Profile is determines what user can do, create, read, edit, delete. Whereas role is determines what user see at the record visibility. What user can see the record visibility. And the second one is a user must have the profile assigned. A user must have the profile assigned. Whereas role is optional. Role is optional. Now profile is grouping the users with similar functions. Grouping a users with similar functions. Role is nothing but it's basically role hierarchy that splits the users with more authority from those with less access, right? So what is the access? How can we give the access at the record level? Is role hierarchy is decided. Now profile is controls the access to the object field level security. Controls the access to the object field level security, page layout, record type, apps and tabs. These are the defined at the profile level. Whereas the role, it defines the controls the access at the record and folder level. You can also control the access at the folder level. Take a notes of it.
Ma'am, what does it mean by hierarchy that splits user with more authority from those with less means, ma'am?
Yeah, so we will see. Basically, role hierarchy is going to decide what user can see. That means if user need to have a more authority or a less authority on the record level, whether what are the record they should be seeing it. So role hierarchy is going to explain it. We will see the role hierarchy next step. Next slide is that is the one, so that you will be getting the clarity.
Okay, thank you.
Done, taken the notes. Okay. So now the part is role hierarchy. So when I say role hierarchy is nothing but, now let's assume that we have there are now in the company, as I have explained, there are different roles will be there. Not only company, in the Salesforce also, we have a different roles. I'm just taking the company-wise roles, like a CEO, CFO, COO, CTO, right? So we have a VP. We have a VP. CEO is at the high level, and then CFO and then COO, and then CTO, and then CTO, and then finally we have VP, right? So this is at the high level CEO. CEO is reported below, it has a CFO, COO, CTO, and then below CTO we have a VP. Below CTO we have a VP. Now role hierarchy allows the whatever this hierarchy is there, this hierarchy is in this hierarchy, this is called as a superior. This is called as a superior. That means whoever is at the higher level is there, they are the superior. They are superior. And below the CFO, COO, CTO, these members are there, right? So they are at the same level. They are at the same level. They are at the same level. They called as a siblings. They are siblings. They are siblings. Superior and siblings. That means whoever at the same level is called as a siblings, right? And whoever is the top level is called as a superior. So ideally it is like a superior, and below that you have a subordinates. Below that you have a subordinates. So subordinate 1, and subordinate 2, and then below we have a subordinate 3. Subordinate 3. And these members are called as they are at the same level. These 3 subordinates are at the same level. So whenever they are at the same level, it's called as a siblings. It's called as siblings. So subordinates report to superior. Now here, CTO is a subordinate, reports to CEO. COO is a subordinate, reports to CEO. CFO is a subordinate, reports to CEO. That means these 3 subordinates who are at the same siblings are reporting to the CEO. And VP is the subordinates reporting to the superior called CTO. Now this is the subordinate, and this subordinate, VP subordinates is reporting to the CTO superior. CTO superior. Again, CTO subordinate is reports to CEO superior. CEO superior. So this hierarchy, this is basically, it's called as a hierarchy. So role hierarchy allows us to make the subordinates, what are the subordinates are there? The subordinates records, what are the records are created by the subordinate 1, subordinate 2, subordinate 3. They will have a visibility. The manager who is the superior is there. The manager can have a visibility of the records. That means whatever the records are created by the CTO, only CEO can see. Only CEO can see. Siblings cannot see. Siblings cannot see, and VP also cannot see the records that is created by the CTO. Only based on the role hierarchy, it is allows the subordinates records get displayed or get visible by the manager by default. By default, it is getting visible. Now, Salesforce provides the default role hierarchy for each organization. Right now, we have deleted the default role hierarchy, right? So, which can be customized, removable. So, we can delete it, remove it, modify it, anything you can make a changes. Right? So, role hierarchy is allows the developer or an admin to make the subordinates records to get visible to the manager by default. Now, Salesforce provides the a default role hierarchy. By default, whenever the org is created, the role hierarchy gets created. The role hierarchy by default gets created, and for each organization, which can be customizable, removable, which can be customizable and removable. And CEO is very high level. CEO is below, CEO is superior. Below superior, we have a subordinate, which is called CFO, subordinate CFO, COO, subordinate CTO. Again, this is the superior because there is another subordinates within the CTO. Whoever is the lower one is there, they are called as a subordinates. Whoever they are reporting to them, it is called as a superior. Now here VP is a subordinate, CTO is a superior. For CEO, these three are subordinates and CEO is a superior. CEO is superior. Take a notes of it. Now, let's say that whenever we create a role, right? Roles are assigned to a user. Roles are assigned to user. So when we created the role, right now we created the role of CEO, CFO, COO, CTO, VP, we have created the role. Now these roles, we need to assign it to the user. These roles, we need to assign it to the user. Now let's see how to assign the roles to the user. So on the role hierarchy, we have created the CEO, CFO, COO, CTO, VP. Now let me show you that. So this is the one. Swapna IT, whatever at the top level is there, this cannot be deleted. This you cannot delete it. Rest all you can delete it, but at the top level you have a Swapna IT that cannot be deleted. That cannot be deleted. Now we have a CEO, CFO, COO, CTO, VP. Now when we have these three, now I need to assign this to the different users. Now we have a users, two are system admin user and one is a standard platform user. One is standard platform user. Now CTO, now let's say CEO, I'm assigning to the batch June, which is at the, whoever is at the high level, I'm assigning to the batch June user. And then we have a CTO. CTO, I'm assigning to the Virat Kohli. CTO, I'm assigning to the Virat Kohli, and then COO, I'll assign it to the Rangaswamy. COO, I'll assign it to the Rangaswamy. And two more are left. One is a CFO and VP. CFO and VP. Are you guys not able to see my screen?
It's visible, ma'am. I'm
Okay,
seeing.
ma'am. Okay.
Okay. Maybe Ramakrishna, you need to reconnect it. Right. So here you have a CEO. Is we will be assigning it to the batch June, and COO we will be assigning to the Rangaswamy, CTO Virat Kohli. And left is CFO and VP. For CFO and VP, I'll create two more users and then I'll assign these roles to those users. Now assigning the roles to the users based on the hierarchy is two different ways. Now let's say here, either you can go to the users. Either you can go to the users. In the users, go to the users. in the users, we have Virat Kohli, right? So for Virat Kohli, I'm going to assign the role. You can directly click on a edit button on the Virat Kohli, and then the role you can assign it. So what is the role that we have created? CTO. CTO I'm assigning to this user. Either you can edit the user and you can assign the role to this user. You can assign the role to this user, or else what you can do is go to the roles. In CEO, I'm click on the assign button. There is a assign button. Click on this assign button and directly assign June batch. Directly assign June batch here and click on is save. Click on save. So CEO, I have assigned the one user. Similarly, I'll assign the COO. COO, I'll assign it to the Rangaswamy. So click on this next button. Let's save. Or if you go to the users level, let's refresh this. Refresh. And then here you have a roles, you can see this. Now, whatever the roles that are assigned to the user can see in this column. Now, Virat Kohli is CTO, Bajun is CEO, Rangaswamy is COO. Rangaswamy is COO. And I'm going to create a two more users. I'm going to create a two more users. Click on a new user. Click on new user. When you click on a new user, let's say I'm going to create the user. Let's assume that we are going to create let's create this Nirali Mahata. Right, so alias email is, I'll give something, and Mahata @gmail.com. Username is also same, and the role I'm going to specify is CFO, and the license Salesforce platform license, user is Salesforce platform user. Now let's keep it as it is, not generate the password, click on save. Right, if I go to this, we have a users, CEO, CFO, COO, CTO. And one more thing which we need is VP. One more user which we need is VP. I'll create another user. Now let's say here, I'm going to create another user, Sirisha. Now let's keep this email, sirisha@gmail.com. And username is also same. And this I'll give the VP and Salesforce platform license, active, do not generate the password, click on the save. And this is already there, okay. .dev, click on save. Now this is another user which we have created. Now we have all the roles are assigned to the user. CEO, CFO, COO, CTO, and then VP. Now we have all 5 users are assigned to the role. Now, if I create a role, right? So right now, this is CEO is June batch. And CFO is Nirali, I have created. And then COO, we have created the Rangaswamy. right? Then CTO, we have created the Virat Kohli. Right, and then finally, VP we have created. VP is Sirisha. Right, so these are the users which we have created. These are the users which we have created. These three are siblings, right? And here Virat Kohli, Rangaswamy, and Nirali is a subordinate who reports to June batch. Similarly, Sirisha is a subordinate, reports to the Virat Kohli. Now, the part of the role hierarchy is if Virat Kohli create a record, assume that Virat Kohli is creating the account record. They are creating the account record. Whenever the Virat Kohli creates the account record, only it should be visible to the June batch. Rangaswamy should not be able to see this record. Nirali also should not be able to see this record. And Sirisha also should not be able to see the records. Right? This is the scenario. Now, similarly, if Sirisha has created the record, account record, only Virat Kohli should be able to see. Rangaswamy should not be able to see. Nirali should not be able to see. Right? June batches, if this user have access, ultimately the June batch also will be having the access. Ultimately, June batch is also having the access. So role hierarchy is going to decide whether you have a less access or more access based on the role hierarchy. So hierarchy splits the users. It splits the users with more authority from those with the less access. Now here I have a very less access is there. From the less access, now if whatever the Sirisha has created the records, Virat Kohli should be able to see the record because subordinate is Sirisha and superior is Virat Kohli. So when the superior is Virat Kohli, should be having the access of the subordinates. So hierarchy is going to split the users with more authority. Right now, let's go ahead and create a scenario. What I'll do is I'll log in as Virat Kohli and I'll create a record. Then I'll log in as a Rangaswamy. I'll log in the Salesforce as a Rangaswamy and then I'll cross verify whatever the Virat Kohli is created, whether it should be visible by the Rangaswamy or not. Ideally, it should not be visible. Based on the role hierarchy, Rangaswamy should not be able to see the records that is created by the Virat Kohli. Right? So let's go ahead and create the scenario, this one. So here we have Sirisha and Virat Kohli, Rangaswamy, Nirali, June batch. Right. So now I'll log in as a Virat Kohli. Now click on this, login, Virat Kohli. Login as Virat Kohli. So what I'll do is I'll go to the clients. Clients are nothing but an account. Now I'm going to create a new account. Let's say that this is the account name is role hierarchy account. Role hierarchy account. And I have created the role hierarchy account and let's say rating equal to warm and then type equal to prospect and industry equal to agriculture. Let's click on save. Too large, maximum is length. Now let's click on save. FR. EDFR 7879M. Let me go to the object. Let's go to the lines. Now, do we have a formula field, or let's open the fields, or maybe it is the validation rule. Let's go to the validation rule. I do not have any validation rule. So from where it is coming, the formula field? Details. Let's load this existing one. So which is automatically displaying the PAN number, right? So what is this PAN number? Did we create anything?
Same object,
Account layout. It's not mandatory. Let me take out the PAN number, click on save. So did we create on the contact? Contact fields and relationship. Anything that we have created here, trigger, close. Right, validation rule. We have not created anything on the page layout. We have not created anything from where it is displaying it.
Can
I
we
need to
see
see
that?
that. So click on this new button. Let's refresh. Click on new. Not displaying it. Role hierarchy. Account. And the rating is 1. Let's click on save. And where this is coming, data value to lodge.
Madam, one more time check the formula field.
Sorry.
Cross subject formula field or
Formula field,
formula
madam.
field.
Formula field
One
in
more time. One more time, check out.
Can you go to the field?
on the account. Client fields and relationship and data type. Which formula field we have created? 18 digit is client ID, service tax. Where is it? Which formula field?
Can you open that field pan
Pan card.
card field?
Pan card field, madam. I think. Where is that field? Not visible.
PAN card in the PAN card. Let's open this. So here the default value is this. That is a problem. Click on this edit. Now remove the default value. We don't want the default value. Click on save. No. So let's go ahead and create one normal field. Duplicate. Now client, let's see, I'm logged in as a June batch, right? So I'll just create the Salesforce. Let's see whether it is creating or not. Account I'll create it. Salesforce account. Let's say. Okay, record is getting created. Perfect. Now I'll log in as a Virat Kohli. Now I'll go to the clients object and then I'll create a new record. So let's say this is a role hierarchy account. Role hierarchy account. Rating is a warm. Type equal to prospect. Industry equal to agriculture. Let's click on a save. Now this is created by owner is Virat Kohli and this is created by Virat Kohli. Right, so this record is created by this person. Now I'll log out. I'll log out as a Virat. Now I'll log in as a Rangaswamy. If I log in as a Rangaswamy, ideally it should not display the record that is created by the Virat Kohli. Whatever the record is created by the other person, Rangaswamy should not be able to see. Now let's log in as a Rangaswamy. Client. Now if I click on all customers, what happened? I can see the role hierarchy account that is created by the Virat Kohli. I can see the record. That means Rangaswamy is able to see the record. Rangaswamy able to see the record. That means though I have implemented the role hierarchy, still the siblings are able to see the record. If I log in as a Nirali also should be able to see the record. Ideally, she should not be able to see the record. But if I log in as a Nirali, and if I go to the clients, and let's say here, all customers, now here I can see the role hierarchy. Who is created? Virat Kohli is created, right? So Virat Kohli has created. Now they should be able to see. That means along with the role hierarchy, something is binding. Just simply implementing the role hierarchy, I cannot restrict. Simply by implementing the role hierarchy, we cannot restrict the visibility of the access. Now, when we have implemented the role, along with the role, the combination is OWD. Along with the role, we have a combination of OWD. Now, if you have set the OWD as a public, you have a OWD is the settings that you have done in the OWD is a public. This is public. OWD is public. OWD is public. When you have a public, now here, your low level, the organization wise, object is already public. When it has a public, whether you implement a role hierarchy or not, it does not impact. The impact only will happen in the OWD level, the object, whatever the object is there, account object. If you set this account object as a private, then only the role hierarchy along with OWD account private, plus now you need to implement the logic of the role hierarchy. Then you need to implement the logic of role hierarchy. So role hierarchy always works combination of OWD and the role hierarchy. So the record level access is just not only the depending on the role hierarchy. It's depending on the role hierarchy plus OWD concept. OWD concept. So combination of both will be working on it. Role hierarchy plus OWD, which is public. Now role hierarchy is record level sharing, but record level sharing is along with the role, you need to also set the OWD. If you have a OWD public, there is nothing to share. Public means it's completely accessible by everybody. Public means everybody can access the record. Whereas private is nothing but you are restricting the visibility. Now when you restrict the visibility using the role hierarchy, you can share the record. Using the role hierarchy, you can share the record. Now, what is the OWD? When I discussed about the OWD, what is the OWD? So OWD are used to indicate the level of access of the record inside the organization. OWD are used to define the access at the organization level. That means OWD decides which record, decides which record should be visible to whom. Right? OWD plus role, both will be deciding it, which record should be visible to whom inside the organization. Now, how can you decide it on the OWD? First, it is going to say that private, there are few options are available in the OWD. Private, public read-only, public read-write, public read-write transfer, public full access, no access, use, view only, controlled by parent. That means if you think at the bottom you have a OWD setup. This is OWD setup. At the bottom you have a OWD setup. Right, so using the OWD, you are assigning the values. Now, you are assigning the OWD, whether it is a private or a public or whatever is there. For example, if OWD is a private, If it is a private, now using the accessibility, using the record level access, you will extend the permission. Using the role hierarchy, you will extend the permission. So OWD is at the low level. On top of it, we have a role hierarchy. So OWD plus role, both will decide which record should be visible to whom inside the organization. within the organization. And in the OWD, we have few options like a private. Do you want it to restrict for the only the user who is created it, only they should be seeing it. Now, next one is public read only. Public read only. That means it is available. Everybody can read it. Everybody can read it. And the next one is public read write. That means everybody can read and write the log. That means update the record. And the next one we have a public read write. Public read, write, and transfer. And transfer. That means you have a access to create a record, to update a record, to transfer the record. To transfer the record. Right? Usually it will be for case and lead, because lead get transferred, right? Lead get transferred to the opportunity. Now we have a public full access. That means everything, all the access provided. And also you have a no access. No access is don't give any access to them. And then we have a use. Use permission set. This is a use option is OWD level. We have it. I'll show you the use option. And also we have a view only view. Or else we have a controlled by parent. Controlled by parent is usually this is applied for the master detail relationship. When you have a master detail relationship implemented between the two objects, that time it says that child object is controlled by the parent object. Controlled by the parent object. Controlled by the parent object. These are the couple of options. Yes, that's what we are able to access, right? So right now it is a public. Right now it is a public. When it is a public, whatever the Virat Kohli has created, Rangaswamy is able to see the record. Nirali is able to see the record. That means siblings are able to see the records that are created by the Virat Kohli, right? So now what we have to do is, now we need to first set up the OWD. If you does the OWD restriction, then using the role hierarchy, you can increase the visibility. You can increase the visibility of it. Right? Now, in the role hierarchy, what are the role properties are there? What are the properties of role here? Properties of role is one user is assigned to one or assigned to one role, whereas one role can be assigned to multiple users. Multiple users. This is the first property of the role hierarchy. Role properties. That means a user can be assigned to the one role, whereas a one role can be assigned to the multiple users. Multiple users it can be assigned. So second point is the topmost, whatever the Samskar ID is there, the topmost organization name, which is Swapna IT, cannot be deleted or modified. You cannot even modify that. Or cannot be modified. And the third observation is parent role cannot be deleted directly. Cannot be deleted directly. if there are child records, if there are child records or child roles. If there are child roles, we cannot delete it. And these are the 3 role properties. Now these properties are, that means if you want to create a role or delete a role, or if you want to modify, these are the main properties. Now roles are used in order to extend the access of the OWD. Now that means if you restrict at the OWD level, now you can, by using the role hierarchy, record level access, we can assign it to the user. Take a note of it. Take a notes of it.
Ma'am, does it any relation with role hierarchy and OWD, ma'am?
Just a second. So here OWD and role does not have any relationship. Directly, you cannot see the relationship. But backend, what will happen is just implementing the role hierarchy. You cannot implement the whatever the level of access is there. Just using the role hierarchy, you cannot do it. You need to implement the OWD and then role hierarchy, then only this work will work. At the front end, so we cannot see the relationship between the OWD and role hierarchy, but at the back end, there is a link will be there. Because whenever the role, based on the role, whenever it is getting executed, based on the role, whenever it is based on the role, whenever it is getting executed, first it will check what is the OWD level, whether it is public or a private. If it is a public, then simply it will avoid executing the role hierarchy. If it is a private, then only it will apply the role hierarchy, whatever is there, it will apply the role hierarchy. Now let's go ahead and show you that. So the navigation steps are, now if you go to the Salesforce, in the Salesforce, go to the setup, just search here, sharing settings. Do not search the OWD, search the sharing settings. Setup and search the sharing settings. Now when you search here, sharing settings, here you have a organization-wide defaults. Organization-wide defaults. And then below you have a few more things, which is the other settings, sharing rules, right? So these all we have it. Sharing rule concept we will see later. Right now we are focusing only onto the organization-wide default. Organization-wide default. In the organization-wide default, if you see here, this is a table structure. In this table structure, we have a first column which explains about the what is the object name, for which object, and then The second one, which explains about the default internal access, default external access. Default internal access is nothing but whoever is logged into the Salesforce. Whoever is logged into the Salesforce, what is the level of access at the OWD level is decided in the default internal access. Now, default external access is nothing but if I have a third-party system. And if this third-party system is talking to the Salesforce, if this third-party system is talking to the Salesforce, and if we are sharing any data to the third-party system, then what level of access we are going to provide it, whether it is a private, public, or whether it is a controlled by parent, or whether it is a controlled by parent or not. So default external access is nothing but outside of the Salesforce. If I am trying to share the object with the third-party system, what is the level of access? What is the level of access? Or if I have a different app, right? So the communities are there. So if I wanted to share the access to the communities, then what is the level of access that we are going to share? Is decided external. Then we have a grant access using the hierarchy. Grant access using the hierarchy. For the standard objects, by default, it is enabled. By default, it is enabled for all the standard objects. By default, it is enabled for all the standard objects. Why I am not able to see the edit? Let's refresh. Now here, if I click on the edit button, now here grant access using the hierarchy. By default, it is enabled for the standard objects. For custom object, it is by default enabled, but if you wanted to remove, you can remove it. This is basically grant the access using the hierarchy. Whatever the role hierarchy is there, based on that hierarchy, do you want to assign the access or not? So by default, it is enabled. That means based on the role hierarchy, we wanted to access it. Now let's say here account and contract, it says public read write, right? So public read write is available for the account. Lead, we have a private, public read only, read write. For assert, it says controlled by private, public read only. So basically in the Salesforce, whatever the options we have, like a private, public read only, public read write, transfer, public full access, no access, use, view only. These are shown only for the few objects. Like private, public read only, read write is except the price book and calendar. Every object should have a private, public read write. Every object should have a public, private, read write, read only. Right? So these options are available except the price book and calendar. Then you have a public read write transfer. This is only for the lead and case, you can see. So if it is a lead, then it is showing me the public read write transfer. If it is a case, it is showing the public read write transfer. Only for these two objects, which is an additional option which is available. Additional option which is available. Now here, public full access is for the campaign. Public full access is for the campaign. For the campaign, now along with these options, we also have a public full access. Do you want to give the full access to the everybody, whether it is a read, edit, delete, view, modify, all the access I wanted to give it to the campaign, which is a full access, which is a full access. Only for the campaign it is available. No access, use, view only. This is for the price book, usually we'll have. Do you want to share the price book with no access, only for the use or only for the view? Controlled by parent is only available at the child object. And this is only shows for the, if it is a master detail relationship is available, then only it will show. But the standard objects, though it is a lookup relationship, it will still show the controlled by parent. For contact, it is showing the contact and account has a lookup relationship, but still it is showing the controlled by parent. Whereas opportunity, it does not show the controlled by Where is the opportunity? Where is the opportunity? We have a opportunity. Opportunity does not have a control by parent. Right? Only few standard objects we have a control by parent, and in the custom object, if it is a custom object is implemented and there is a relationship which we have implemented between these two master detail relationship, then we can say that controlled by parent. You can assign the multiple record to a single user or single time to the multiple users. That we will see how can we assign it. Right, so those are the options which are available. Now what we are doing is for the account, I'm going to just change the private. From the public read write to the private, I'm going to change it. Now when I change the private, now what is the pop-ups it is showing me here? Now let's click on edit again. Now if I change the account to private, opportunity access must be private when the account access is set to private. And the account access is set to private. That means if you are changing the account to private, then you will see the opportunity access is also will be changed to the private. And then okay, then case access must be private when account access is private. Similarly, case right now it is a public read write transfer. It will also change to the private. I'll click on OK. Now, when the case sharing mode is private, each case queue must have at least one member. This is the queue concept. Now it is, as soon as the account is private, automatically the opportunity and case gets changed to the private. Before it was a transfer, and here it is a public read write. Right? Now I'll click on it. In case if you wanted to modify, now it says that opportunity access must be private when the account access is set to private. You cannot even change. The options are available, but you cannot change the option. If you want to change the options at the opportunity and case level, you first change here to the public read only or public read write. If you change this, then only you can move this opportunity internal access from the private to different option. Now click on the save. All sharing roles will be recalculated. Click on the save. Now it is going to take some time in order to update it. Right now it is a public read write. The backend logic gets executed. The logic is getting executed here. Click on a refresh. When the backend logic is executed, now still it is executing it. Certain operation may not be available and it might take some time. It is giving the warning message here. Now it is changed to the private. Right. So once it is changed to the private, now what I will do is I'll go to the user. What are the Virat Kohli has created? He has created it. Virat Kohli is created the role hierarchy account. Now this user is created the account which is called as a role hierarchy. So role hierarchy account is created by Virat Kohli and the owner is also Virat Kohli. Now I'll log out as a Virat Kohli and log in as a Rangaswamy. So let's log in as a Rangaswamy. Let's click on a login. So when I click on a login as a Rangaswamy, I'll go to the client. Now if I click on it, all customers, I cannot see the one which is created by the I cannot see anybody's records here. I cannot see, right? Similarly, Nirali also cannot see the record which is created by the Virat Kohli. Similarly, the Nirali also cannot see the record that is created by the Virat Kohli. Now click on this, all customers. Now they cannot see any records here. Click on the logout. Now the assignment is log in as a Sirisha. You need to set up this role hierarchy and set up this, what are the users you have it. So users you need to assign. Virat Kohli is a Salesforce license. Virat Kohli is Salesforce license. And June batch is also Salesforce license. These two are a Salesforce license. So June batch is Salesforce license. It is a sales license. Sales license. Similarly, we have a Virat Kohli. Virat Kohli is also sales license. And rest of the things are Salesforce platform license. Salesforce platform license. This is also Salesforce platform license. This is also platform license. Now you might be having a different users. If you do not have a users in this license, create a users in this license and assign this. So CEO assign the system admin. What are the system admin is there? Assign this to the system admin. CFO assigned to the Nirali. COO assigned to the Rangaswamy. CTO assigned to the whoever is the sales license is there. VP assigned to the platform license. Now you have to log in as a Sirisha. You have to log in as Sirisha and check whether Virat Kohli is able to view the record that is created by Sirisha or not. In between this, you need to create a OWD settings. In between, you need to create OWD settings. You need to create OWD settings. What is this OWD settings? Account, what are the account is there? This account has to be a private. Account has to be a private. So this is the homework. Account has to be a private. Now check this. What are the Sirisha has created the record? Virat Kohli should be able to see the record. Who all will be able to see the record if Sirisha has created the record?
Virat Kohli has.
Virat Kohli and June batch.
And June batch. Whatever these siblings are there, siblings should not be able to see the record. Create that. That is the homework. Now, interview questions.
Assignment, ma'am.
This is the assignment. Whatever we have discussed, that is the assignment. What are the role hierarchy? What are the role properties? What are the role properties? When do we use roles? What are the navigation steps to create it? What are the navigation steps to create a role? What are the different type of roles? What are the different type of roles? What is the differences between profile and role? What is the differences between the profile and role? Example for role hierarchy. Provide example for role hierarchy. What is OWD? What are the navigation steps to create OWD? What are the options are available for what are the options available in OWD? What are the options available in the OWD? These are the interview questions, and I'll provide you the trial head links. That's all for today.